Okay, we're going to do something a little bit different today because Nancy Lowell, who I know is a friend in Philadelphia, has a really, really cool blog about kitchen tools and cooking, and she calls it Chef's Last Diet because it's about a chef, and she is a chef, a professionally trained chef, who said, hey, no more dieting, I'm going to enjoy food, which is something many of us can wholeheartedly agree with. So here she's got this post, my top 10 favorite kitchen tools. And when I saw this, I said, Nancy, you need to make that into a giveaway, a lead magnet for your readers. And she said, how do I do that? So that's what we're going to show you today. First thing we're going to do is we're going to come here to this post, and you can see how it's written. And I'm not going to do it live because it takes time, but what she would do is cut and paste. Or if you already have this in Microsoft Word, then go ahead and do this in Word and just cut and paste it onto a Microsoft Word document. And I've already done that for her. So here's what we've got. I would consider changing the title. I'm not so sure. And the reason is that this particular title she's got, My Favorite Kitchen Tools, is about her. It's about Nancy. And what she will want to do when she turns it into a lead magnet is to get away from the blog post personal style and get a little more into how this will benefit you. So we don't have to do that right now. We're just going to say 10 essential kitchen tools. That's not very exciting. I think we can do better. Maybe even My Favorite Kitchen Tools might work if she knows her market. And then it's by Nancy Lowell, which we put here. What I would do, we're going to come to what she's going to put up here, and that's going to be a cover, which we'll talk about in just a moment. You can see this peeking out here. So we have a disclaimer. Now, I have disclaimers on all my ebooks, even my free ones, especially my free ones, and it's a judgment call. I have things like, this is to say I am not a professional psychologist or a doctor or a lawyer, and you may need additional advice to make your own decisions. I have some blueprint language like that. For cooking tools, I don't know, but she might think about what she wants to disclaim. Maybe, for example, she's promising they do something and says, this is the best of my knowledge. You might be attacked by a spatula. Be careful. I don't know. So probably not for a food blogger, but for many of us, we want a disclaimer saying it's not professional advice. And then here in her blog, it was very personal. She has a very nice personal style. So she begins with, I can't believe I've never written a post. So obviously this has to go, right? So what we do is we come down to the parts that are critical to advice. So she's saying, I'm not a fan of single purpose tools unless they are essential to something. I skip them. I have a big kitchen by city standards, and they are filled. This is something, again, I'm not sure you really need this. And then what she might do is have something like frequently used tools. This could be another heading here. I have some tools I use frequently. And then I have some I use less, but can't imagine living without them. But can't imagine, as she says, getting along without them for even a day. So she'd have something like this. The idea is before you jump into your 10 tips, you need at least a very short header. Some people don't. There are some well-known writers who just jump right into the tips, and that's fine too. So if this is it, everything has to be useful. Then we have the tips, and you need something like, this works. And here, then the big 10, and then she's got these. So what we can do here is, what I would do is I would make this a little more attractive. You can hire someone on Fiverr to do it, or just do it. Instead of just having one in the number, there are things you can do, and maybe have something like highlight silicone spatulas. If she wanted to, she could have a picture of each thing on the side. Canning funnel, I don't even know what that is. I cannot imagine. Oh my goodness, using grind beans. Wow. Okay, so those are the kinds of things. And then notice what we've done. We've added space between paragraphs. This would also be a really good time to go through and edit your own work. See if there's something you can leave out. See if there's something that is not essential. See if there's a way to make it more interesting. And in Nancy's case, she's got a very personal style that works well for her blog. But for these, she might want to get some of the personal stuff out and use it, make it more interesting, but still personal. Rather more, she might want to make it more relevant to the reader. So there are different ways you can use this. Offset serrated knife, antique jar opener. That's see, again, this is where you might not, well, in this case you might. The problem with something like this on a 10-point sheet is this is more about her, and the question is, can you get it? You might not want to have all this background material in this giveaway. What you might want to say is just something like jar opener, and then you just something like what you do, why is it useful, and then you can still get one from the Vermont Country Store. And some of these, by the way, when you're doing a lead magnet, if there is a affiliate program, you can make this an affiliate link if you want to. Then half sheet trays, mine are beat up and dull, okay. And then they did get clean, but you don't need all that detail. Here's where you were talking instead about why do you use them? What do you do with a half sheet tray? Why would I want one? So she did a little bit of editing to make this even more useful to her readers. And you can get the idea. Sizzle pans. I've never heard of half these things. And then here's where you get them. She said, I got mine from a friend in the restaurant business. Okay, but what if I wanted one? How would that be useful to me? And then the bonus tip, I would not use italics, but that's fine. I buy the cheap wood ones at a nearby Asian supermarket. Come in packs 20. This is good. And see, this is a really good way to set this up. And I would not just do 11 bonus. I'd say something like this. Bonus tip, make it stand out. Bonus tip. Bonus, or whatever you want to call it, list, bonus item. Get rid of the italics, and see, now we have wood chopsticks. And then this is exactly the way you want all of them to be. Here's where I buy them. Here's how much they might cost, if you want to say that. And then why you use them. What do you do? And this is really useful. And then what do we have at the end? At the end, there are several ways to go. One is to say something like, if you need more information, that's generally the best thing to do, especially if you have something for sale. You could say something like, if you'd like to get more information, you can hire me for a consultation. That's what I would have on mine, or I might have a link to a course that you pay for. If you don't have anything you pay for, you might want to offer an affiliate product, which means you sell someone else's product and get them to pay you a commission. You can certainly do that. So that's the way we've got this set up. Now what we're going to do is take this and we're going to turn it into a PDF. And I would say first make sure it's exactly the way you want it. Do your spell check, read it over, add some illustrations, make it look nice. People like things to look good these days, so they like a few illustrations. And then at the end, you again have your perhaps a bio about yourself, and definitely some kind of a call to action if you want to. If you don't, if you're just getting subscribers, that's okay too. But there's no reason not to offer something extra. So we should have bio, maybe a picture goes here, something like that. And then hold the thought in your mind for what we're going to put up here. But while we're on this page, I'm going to tell you what she's going to do, which is you can do print. And then when it says print, we're going to turn this into a PDF. And this is how it works on Word for the Mac in my edition. Every computer has something like this now. See, we go into PDF, save as PDF. And that's what we're going to do. Now, when we save it as a PDF, you will be given the option to go with security. If you go down here, security options. And I always do this. I always set mine to require a password to copy text, images, and other content. And you just make up a password. It can be anything. That's just totally up to you. I don't require a password to print the document because it annoys people. And I especially don't require a password to open the document because that really annoys people. If you're worried about people printing your document out and stealing it, there are a couple things you can do, although I don't want to go in too much off in detail, but you can do things like have a header and a footer on that deters people. And I operate on the assumption that if I'm copied, it doesn't really matter because I'm really selling something that's me, and coming from someone else, it will not have the same impact. So I don't worry too much. But you can do with headers and footers, you can put something on top, and that does deter people. Something like 10 kitchen tools, and then you can say copyright um, 2016 Nancy Lowell. You could put that at the, I would not do it on the first page, I just did. And I also should mention, well, let's get this done. Make it small. You can put it on the first page, but usually I do it on the second. And you can also, if you like, have page numbers, which I also recommend. So we can do insert page numbers, and then alignment right. Don't show them on the first page. I usually alignment right. That's usually the most common, and that's okay. And now we can see, if we go through, we'll have numbers, and you can set that up. So now we're all set. That's how you would print it out. But before we do that, or rather, I want to tell you one more thing to do. What I would recommend Nancy do is get a cover. Now, obviously, this is not a real book, but it's something you display. So when she wants to show an image of the ebook, she goes here to Fiverr.com. And she says, okay, I'll tell you how to use Fiverr to do this. If you're my client and you're with me for a project of any size above a certain amount, I will do this for you. I'll help you get your Fiverr covers, and I do a lot to help you with the design. But most of the time you'll be on your own. So what I do, and I still do this because I have a person I use, I have several people I use, but sometimes they disappear, and they come and go. So what you want to do is assume you're going to spend not $5, but $10 or even $15 on this, and get 3. Go to 3 places. Be very specific about what you want. Find something you like. They're not going to be 100% original. They're not going to modify. What they're doing, they're using a template. They're using software to make their covers. So I might try this one, actually. This looks like a good choice. I don't know who this person is, but it would be on my list. Why? Well, first of all, this person has 2 days on average. That's not bad. That means that person is busy. They're not overnight. They have 210 reviews, which is very good. They've been around a while, and they've got an average of 4.9. Only 1 order in the queue, which means it'll probably take me less than 2 days to get it. So, and I also like this. I mean, I think this would be a good one for Nancy's. One hint, you give them the image. When you're dealing with people on a space like this, you don't know where the images are coming from. You don't want to have an image that's stolen. You cannot afford that. So get an image that you have chosen. And then what you're going to do is, when we go back to, let's see if we still have it. Yes, it's going to go here on a whole page by itself as the first page here. It's going to go, if you have a landing page, that's another topic, it'll be there. But I would definitely recommend having one. It could be in the margin of your blog, and then you can have people click. So that's what you do. And then when you're ready to publish it, that's all you do. You make the PDF file, you get your cover, and you put it on top, and now you're ready to roll. So how do you let people know? Well, you can do all kinds of things. You can set up a link to your email system, and you can have someone subscribe. Your email system will give you ways to set up boxes, or what we call sign-up boxes, on your page. And it depends on whoever you're working with. For example, if you're with AWeber, which is not a bad person to be with, a bad company. If you're just starting, they're very good. I use Mad Mimi. They all have ways for you to set up a sign-up box. And this is one. You can see get free access now. And we aren't going to go right into how to write this. It's a whole other topic. This originally was done with AWeber, and now it's with Mad Mimi. You've got the disclaimers on the bottom. I still have to change this to a new year. It's going to be a pain. But you see, this is a good example of a sign-up, and this is a landing page. And this is perfectly fine to do. But I want to tell you, what I started doing now is something different, where I go to, on my own blog, if you go there, you'll see that I've got something where I have created a widget. I go to the widget space, and by the way, this is how you do it. You enter, this is lead pages text, which is what I'm going to show you in just a moment how that works. So we go to my blog, and we'll see Notice what happens when we pull this up. Each of these is a giveaway. This is the kind of thing I was showing Nancy how to create. So let's say I type I want this one. 7-step cheat sheet for developing and profiting from online courses. So I click here. Now what happens and what I like about lead pages is I don't have to go to a whole landing page. While it's still on my mind, I'm seeing the image that I want. I type in my email address, or I type in, the person will type in their email address. They'll click on Get Started here, and they'll be good to go. They just watch their email, and it's all set. So this is a really nice way, and these lead boxes convert faster than regular landing pages for the most part, so they're very handy to use. You don't have to use lead pages. There's other ways to do this, but I just know lead pages. So that's what we're doing. If you want to use lead pages, this is my link, budgetworld.com/AFFLP, and if you want to use that, and that will get you started on lead pages, and you can use that much more easily. I find lead pages is somewhat more expensive than other things, but I haven't had to get a techie person to help, so it's paid off. So there you have it. From beginning to end, you are now ready to create a lead magnet from a blog post.